So it's a great pleasure to introduce this next session, which is a special part of the ESDR meeting, and it's the awarding of the honorary memberships. Today we have two people who have strongly supported the ESDR over the years. They've made significant impact in skin science, but also shown strong leadership in skin research. And importantly to me and others, have shown great mentorship to people within the ESDR. Could I ask Professor O'Toole to read the first citation? Oh, that's a nice photo.
Thank you, David. So it's an honour to be asked to give this citation for Professor Birgit Lane to become an honorary member of the ESDR. So Birgit obtained her BSc and PhD in zoology in London, and after postdoctoral work at Cold Spring Harbor in New York and Imperial Cancer Research Fund, she set up her own group there. She subsequently moved to Dundee, where she was the Cox Chair of Anatomy and Cell Biology from 1991 to 2009. And this picture that you see here is of Birgit and her husband, David Lane, taken in the Life Sciences building in Dundee. In 2005, she went on sabbatical to Singapore and founded the A-Star Institute of Medical Biology and was its inaugural director from 2007 until 2018. She founded the Skin Research Institute in Singapore in 2013 and is now its chief scientist. This is a picture of her with her current skin research group. So Birgit's research focuses on epithelial biology, in particular keratins. She has over 250 publications and 20,000 citations in this field. Highlights include a paper in Cell in 1990, showing the role of keratin domains in intermediate filament formation, and a series of papers in Nature and Nature Genetics in the 1990s, showing the majority of known keratin disease causing disease mutations. And more recently, mutations in TGF-beta receptor 1 causing Ferguson-Smith syndrome. She has supervised 33 PhD students to date and mentored many key opinion leaders in the field, including Jin Liu, who's director of a cancer institute at Oxford, Erwin McLean, John Common, and Kari Shimako, who's a professor of breast cancer biology in Calgary in Canada. Birgit has been a regular attendee and contributor to the ESDR. She has also been a person who has built bridges between institutions in Japan and Singapore, between the UK and Singapore, and worldwide between the US, Europe, and Asia. She has also been very involved with patient organisations, including PC Project and DEBRA. On a personal basis, I've always found Birgit to be a model of diplomacy, tact, and helpfulness. She is very warm and welcoming in her office, and a year or two ago, I asked her to see a scientist from Vietnam, and she saw that person the next day, although she had a very tight schedule. And I'm sure he felt like it was normal, that he was being welcomed into her office for half an hour. When I was president of the BSID in the UK, she came to the meeting every year from Singapore. She went around all the posters, spoke to all the postdocs and all of the students about their projects, and always showed great interest. So for these reasons, David Kelsall and I are delighted to propose Birgit Lane for honorary membership of the ESDR for her contribution to skin biology, her ability to bring partnerships to life, and all the work she has done for the ESDR and skin science. Thank you.
That's really nice. Thank you very much. That's really nice. Just come out of the dark, right? Well, I'd just like to say thank you very much for this. It's really, I'm really honoured and touched to get this medal and this honorary award. It's especially nice to get an award for something that you love doing, of course. The ESDR, in the time I've been associated with it, has really grown and developed and gone from strength to strength and moved from being sort of more of a club for interested people to a very serious professional support society. And I'm really excited to see and hear about some of the plans it has for going forward. And I think it's going to be very exciting being linked to them in the future. So I'd just like to say thank you very much to everybody who supported this, and I'm really pleased. Thank you.
Okay, Matthias, would you like to say a few words about Irwin?
Okay. It is my delight to introduce Professor Irving Schaeffler as honorary member of the ESDR. Professor Schaeffler obtained his MD from the University of Vienna. He then first did some training in general medicine before he entered the residency training at the University of Vienna, training with Klaus Wolf and Georg Stingel. Later on, he went for postdoctoral research about retroviruses at the NIH, working with Drs. Reitz and Gallo between 1987 and 1989. Subsequently, back in Vienna, he also clinically got interested in taking care of HIV patients. However, then he started his laboratory focused on skin biology at the University of Vienna, and at the same time became scientific director of Chanel series that you all know. He's currently head of the research division for skin biology and pathobiology at the Department of Dermatology in Vienna at the Medical University of Vienna. Professor Schaeffler has published extensively and has been cited massively. Early on, he discovered a new cell type, gamma delta T cells in mouse skin. He also described HIV infection of dendritic cells on macrophages during his time at the NIH, various other HIV-related discoveries that he made. Then he moved a little bit, transferred his interest to keratinocyte biology, demonstrated the role of caspase 14 in keratinocyte differentiation. He demonstrated the impact of histamine on the skin barrier, and he also did very interesting work on sensorial innervation of the human touchstone. With respect to his contributions to the ESDR, he was board member of the ESDR between 1999 and 2004. And I think what is particularly honorable is that he fostered the cooperation between ESDR and EADV, always seeking out the synergies between the two societies rather than the points of friction. For example, he established joint EADV-ESDR summer research workshops that are still very successful today. And then, of course, he was also organizer of the ESDR annual meeting in Vienna in 2004, which he helped to organize very well. As you can see, it was a very well-attended meeting. It was also well organized by young Thomas Florestan at the time, who always is interested also in the social activities here in a famous Viennese coffee shop. This is Irving Schaeffler, similarly young at the time. He was then president of the Austrian AIDS Society, and later he also served as president of the Austrian Society of Dermatology and Venerology, and as you all know, between 2012 and 2014 as president of the EADV. So with all this, Irving, it is my honor to bestow you with honorary membership of the ESDR. I realized looking through your CV that you already have a lot of honorary memberships of various national societies, but we hope that you cherish this one as we think very special European honorary membership of the ESDR. So please come to the stage.
I say a few words. It's okay. Should we have a photo first? Yeah. Okay. I feel completely, it means really a lot of me. ESDR accompanied me 35 years of my life in skin research, and the ESDR Congress was always a very special event, the highlight of the year. It's the place where I met the other researchers from all over Europe and from the United States, as you do, as the younger ones here do. I met fellow residents, and I met role models all over the place. And it was also the place where I found out that my bosses at the time, Klaus Wolf and Georg Stingel, can be really convivial companions. So the ESDR was able to create and is able to create an atmosphere of cooperation and creativity. I must say I thank the ESDR, I thank the board, I thank the people who proposed me and who voted for me very much, and I'm really touched by this honor. Thank you.